Hey everybody, welcome back to Bitch with Comrade Misty. I am Comrade Misty. We're just gonna have another party tonight, so there's gonna be a multitude of people popping in at various times just to hang out for a little bit. Because bitch giving was fun. It was fun to have people pop in and out and have like a little party. So we're gonna do that again. Before we introduce guests, you guys know that I've been trying to like recently like boost people who have Etsy stores or who are musicians or comedians or who do mutual aid or whatever. This week I have kind of a personal request. So some of you who follow me on Twitter may know that last week I found out that a friend of mine that I used to work with passed away last week. So his family is trying to raise money, for funeral costs. And so he was like basically raising his nieces. So they could use some help. So it's just like instead of I'll share the, sorry, hold on. So this is the GoFundMe. I'll post this in the chat. But this is the GoFundMe for his family. They've already raised a lot. They need to up the goal. Like I said, he was helping to take care of his nieces and all that good stuff. So if you guys have it, if you don't, I get it. Share it. It helps. But that's just kind of my personal request for this week. To help his family out through this, because I haven't seen him for many years. Life got in the way, but yeah, he was a great dude. So yeah, if you can help out, please help out. And yeah, that's all I got for that, I guess. So this week I'm excited. Right now we have Artemis, who is an activist and a journalist, joining us, longtime mutual of mine on Twitter. So this is going to be fun. We have lots to bitch about. We were just bitching before the show. And then also actually just recently that jumped in, Sakura just jumped in from March Medicare for All. And hi, welcome back.
Hi, how
Hi.
are you?
Good. It's good to see you again.
Nice to see you. I was listening to bitch giving
Yeah. Oh,
actually today.
that was so fun.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
That was so like we even had like a decent troll pop in.
I
Oh,
know.
that troll promised me to come back. Where are you? Are you here yet?
All right.
I'm
I
waiting.
was laughing about you excluding Asians.
Oh.
So I can be a token Asian today.
Thank you. See? Oh, here we go. I hope that troll comes back. Where are you at? Is it
Right.
Mr. Denis? Mr. Denis, I think, is his name. I think that was his name. But yeah, you can. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Now you can say, yeah, I had an Asian on my show.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
I really hope he comes back. He or she. I don't know if it's a boy or girl. It doesn't matter. And then Artemis, thank you for coming. Seriously.
Yeah,
like, we've been longtime mutuals. And so it's cool to like meet you. It's weird meet you, but yeah, meet you.
Yeah. I gotta say, being longtime mutuals with you helped my own radicalization, so thanks.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you. That's always weird.
I don't think I would have seen past like the Bernie camp as quickly without like what you do. So
well, thank you for that. I'm not gonna lie, I took a lot of shit for that for a long time. Woo! Imagine 2016 being like one of few people speaking out against Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, wow. That's wild.
We won't talk about where I was politically in 2016.
No, listen, I try to remember that everybody's on their own journey. We talk about this a lot on this show. We talk about it on a multitude of shows. And I have a hard time being patient. I'm not very patient. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I'm not very good at being patient. So I'm working on that. I really am. But it's hard when it's so obvious to you when other people can't see what's happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's very frustrating. But yeah, everybody's on their own path, man. Like I'm friends with people who were shit libs up until very recently, like Warren supporters in 2020. I'm friends with Trump supporters. I'm friends with like it, we all got to meet each other where we're at, I think. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Anyways, but later on, Jesse Jett's supposed to be popping by at some point. I think Steve may be coming by. Glory might be coming by. I'm not sure. Again, I just sent the link out to a bunch of people
Okay.
and we'll see who shows up. I kind of like doing that last week. That was fun.
That was wild.
It was fun. I had no idea who was going to come. I just, randomly selected some people and sent the link and whoever came. And it was a good time. That was a really good time. So when Jesse gets here, though, things will probably get pretty lit up because for some reason, I think it's when we get together, like I get even more fired up.
Right. That's cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, here, hold on. Here's Glory and Steve. Dude. What's up, you guys?
What's good?
So Steve can't do video. He's just can you hear me, Steve?
I can.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in forever, so this is fun stuff.
I know.
Right? Wow.
Well, I mean, I was
Yeah.
on the vigil like a week ago, was I?
Yeah, that's true. My days
I
blur
never
together.
see Glory during the week anymore. This is awesome.
Oh. Yeah, it's weird. Everybody's so busy. It's hard to like even nail somebody down for interviews anymore or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
It's nuts. Which is good though, I guess. It's good that we're all doing shit out there, you know, getting it done.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Okay,
what do you guys
so
want
as
to
long
see?
as we're in like a little lull in the conversation, I have to know how is the little comrades basketball practice?
Conrad's basketball practice was great. So she had her first preview game Sunday, I think. So they just did like a 2-quarter, whatever, like, you know, half a game practice or whatever. And they didn't do very good. I think 7 out of the 12 players she has on her team have never played in a basketball game before. So they didn't do great, but they like there was definitely like at least she did. She learned a lot of stuff. Like she wasn't super aggressive. You know, she wasn't, you know, like I kept telling, get in their faces. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to get in their faces. Like get in their face. And so, but she's learning. I think she'll get it. She was just I think she was just really nervous because, you know, she's never been in a basketball game before.
I know. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. But it went great. And she is turning into like a tiny Glory Jones.
I know. That's why I need to know how this went, because like apparently I'm her very, very indirect mentor. So I feel like personally invested in her journey.
Yeah. She's just super into anime now, and now she's playing basketball, and I'm like, what the hell is happening here? Yeah.
Glory Jones, role model.
Yeah,
Role.
I know, right? But seriously, I've said this a couple of different times. If my kid is as cool as Glory Jones at 21, then I win parenting. I think I win parenting, you know? So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. That's totally fine for me. Anyway, so all right, so what are we going to bitch about first, you guys? Because there's a lot of shit. Does anybody have anything they want to start with?
Actually,
Steve, I
I
haven't
do.
talked to you in forever. Why don't you start?
I mean, there's a bit going on. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but it seems like there's this total technocratic police state heading everyone's way. And although I do want to say there have been significant wins for workers all over the place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Over the last several months, including a number of recent decisions to halt mandates for healthcare workers, contractors, public and private sector employees. There are people who John Deere was able to successfully strike. There have been a number of other healthcare workers that have gone on strike, like with Kaiser for different reasons. That have been successful. So, but before we really get into the bitch part of it, I do want to recognize that there have been a number of wins for workers lately, and that is really, 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 really good. Yes. Because it's going to be a really long winter for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And this is how you start to build community among workers that isn't necessarily related to rhetoric, but recognized camaraderie and need. And this is how you can start to create parallel structures that actually break the centralized institutions that have a monopoly on violence, that have a monopoly on what the economy is, that have a monopoly on all of the things that make our lives significantly more difficult and don't allow us to interact freely in a way that is much more rational, insane, and
Oh man,
voluntary.
You cut out a little bit, Steve. You cut out a little bit.
So well, it's Elon Musk. I am in the middle of nowhere, subject to the goddamn Skynet. This screwed me up last week, Misty. This is why I was not on bitch giving. You want
I
something to
know.
bitch about? Let's bitch about the fact that 87 miles above me, at the lowest possible fucking range for a quote-unquote satellite, there's a thing floating up that's supposed to give me faster internet than all you bitches. But no. That's not how this works.
It's so cool to have like
wasn't
somebody
run
else
by
besides
Muskrat.
me bitching about internet speed, because that used to be my job, was to bitch about internet speed.
Right.
And hi, Jesse Jet.
Hi.
Hi,
how you doing?
Jesse.
What's good,
Hi.
Jesse?
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Jesse.
I'm so happy you're here.
I know, me too.
Yeah, but Steve, it's funny that you now have terrible internet. It's not funny, but I mean, it is kind of, because it's not me.
So I was
ironic,
really
Right?
spoiled.
Right? No. This is important. This is important. Let's get this out of the way right now. Right now. Everything is funny, right? There until it happens to you.
Yep.
And then it is significantly less funny.
Yeah,
I can,
true.
I
True.
can attest to that with internet. So when I first
Yeah.
moved to Salt Lake, I had fiber. So like, you know, Google Fiber, like the gold standard of internet tech. And then we moved a few months ago to this to a different house that's actually ours now. Well, will be. Anyways, that doesn't matter. What matters is your options are cable or nothing. And so we actually just T-Mobile finally launched a 5G, basically a MoFi service that was way cheaper. So we switched to that, but the upload speeds suck. Download speeds actually are pretty good.
Sleepy Josh laughed at me. He's like, can you? I was like, he's like, your internet's really terrible. Can you run an internet speed test? And I'm like, yeah, cool. So I ran one, told him what it said, and he literally laughed out loud. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, because I don't know, like, I didn't know. And before doing this, all I ever used my internet for was like to pay bills and check Twitter, and like I didn't really use it for much, and like streaming shit. So yeah, I didn't, and yeah, it was bad. It was really, really bad. And now I have decent internet. It's not superior, but it's okay. It's a lot better than it used to be. It's a lot. It's bad. It was bad.
With anyone who has terrible internet.
Yeah,
It's like
it's again, United States of America. We can't get people decent some internet. Really?
Well, actually, we could if there was political.
No,
will.
I know we can.
It would be real easy to take FDR's Rural Electricity Act and replace every reference to the word electricity with high quality broadband and pass it, copy paste, pass it, and boom, everybody would have internet. But no,
Ugh.
do that.
So stupid. We're so stupid. We're the dumbest country.
We really are.
We've got to be one of the dumbest
Speaking
countries.
of dumb, I don't understand why people are so dumb to think that, to basically think that just because of someone's identity or whatever they said before they got elected, anyone who is in our federal government is literally one of the most powerful humans to ever exist. And I don't get why people are stupid enough to just basically defend them.
So if I could interject there for a minute, the government that we're allowed to see, that's because it's a production. These are positions of perceived power. Now that doesn't mean that you can't manipulate, influence, because there are a lot of idiots around you, or there are a lot of people who have actually bought in to the idea that somehow someone who is represented by a handful of lobbyists who themselves represent like the public face of a board of directors that sits on multiple boards of directors that ultimately appeal to a much smaller group of people who appeal to a much smaller group of people. You see where I'm going? Like, they are not, they represent the marketing. They represent the mythology. They represent the narrative.
That's true.
But these people
They're still some of the
aren't-
most powerful
they're-
humans to ever exist.
Their positions have
I'm-
power, but they themselves have very little power.
Yeah.
Their
They
own.
deserve
Their
nothing but ridicule, is what I'm
Yes.
saying. And if you're going to take an Instagram influencer seriously,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's all-
Dr.
that's all- yeah.
Oz, Dr. Oz is running for Senate in Pennsylvania. Did you
I
guys
saw
see
that.
this?
Dr. fucking Oz.
Dr.
You guys.
Dr. Oz is a literal snake oil salesman
Yes.
who has been
Donald Trump was
discredited.
president. Donald Trump
Yeah,
was president.
You
Wait,
guys-
Okay,
That's
that
what
gets
people
into that gets into the thing that I like. I guess you could call this what I want to bitch about, but like, y'all, can Ilhan Omar just like smack the shit of Lauren? What's her face already?
Bo.
Bobert?
I don't
Why
know.
can't she just smack her? I'm like lost. Like instead
Because
it's like,
it
oh my
literally-
god,
Because they have to
no,
milk it for the
Steve,
news
I'm
cycle.
bitching here,
Mhm.
okay? like we just went on this whole thing about this whole thing is like public theater. It's become
Yeah.
very clear that this whole
Mhm.
match is WWE. So can y'all just start throwing hands with each other?
Yes,
please?
Glory Jones.
Because it's like,
Yes.
assuming this elevator story is even true, like, why can't Ilhan Omar's response, instead of doing this whole mesh, just be like, you know what? I wish that elevator story was true so I could smack the shit out of that fucking bigot. Like, it's so dumb to me. And then this Lauren chick is going on and on about like, oh well, the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is starting, so be ready for the left to do some more uber emotional attacks or whatever. And then all the next tweets in her timeline are like, the left is attacking me, donate to me, Ilhan Omar, oh my god. And it's like, it's
It's
so
just
dumb
culture
on
war
both sides.
nonsense.
It
It's
is,
a
it
soap
is.
opera for psychopaths, you guys. It's so
Here
annoying
comes
too.
Rashida Tlaib with the steel chair. Rashida Tlaib with the
From the top
steel
rope.
chair.
I wish that's what it was like, Steve, though.
It might as well be. I mean, like, entertain
it's
us at least. This is
not.
just dumb shit.
Okay,
And I
you know
don't
what?
mean
This
to
is-
like
Really
diminish how
boring
important like
words.
this kind of stuff is, and that we shouldn't let big. But come on, you guys, this is like so intense. It's a play. It's a show. It is wrestling, Glory Jones. And I wish they would just start throwing hands. I mean, such a waste of time.
This is going to take a little bit of time, so I don't need your answers right away. But to Twitter at large, I would like to know each squad member's WWE entrance song
I
that
am going
really
to obsess over
sums up
this.
their personality in the whole show, as well as how little they've accomplished. I'm
I
going to
am
need
going to
those within like a
obsess
couple
over
days.
this.
Oh,
Days,
no,
yes,
you're
yes.
actually gonna like.
I am
you're
going to
actually
obsess.
gonna-
No.
I'm
Okay,
already
Ilhan
obsessing.
Ilhan Omar walks in to Kid Rock's American Badass. Rashida
Oh.
Tlaib walks in to Lee Greenwood, proud to be an American. AOC
Oh no.
walks in to the real Slim Shady unironically. Unironically. Really, is there anybody like? Do you count the junior squad at this point? Does anyone still count? What's in Ayanna Presley? Because if she
Yes,
walks
people
in-
do.
Okay, so if we're counting her, then in all sincerity, I think you would have to go with like the Fat Boys and whatever's God, what was their like one commercial radio hit?
Whose?
It was
I was just gonna-
it was a made for MTV band in the 80s that were like a one-hit wonder band or a one-album wonder band. They were a
Oh,
gimmick.
I remember.
They were a gimmick. So whatever their one-hit wonder was, that's what she would walk
Yeah.
out to, because they had to pitch her as the fourth squad member in order to sell that marketing package. And she was that one-hit wonder. everyone knew she was a conservative to begin with. They allowed themselves to be hit over the head with a hammer.
Yeah. She was a Clinton surrogate, for God's sake. Come the fuck on.
I'm like dead ass looking
and
through
everyone
like
pretended that never happened.
Yeah.
dead ass looking through like my
She worked with
SoundCloud of
Neera
anime
Tanden.
soundtracks and
Okay,
trying to
Nia
figure out
Turner
like
makes my
which one
blood
of them
boil.
would fit best. Like,
Yeah.
Does this
I'm
steer
seriously
you
going to
someone
obsess over that
attractive?
question, Jesse, for a long
Speaking of anime soundtracks, I realized the other day how many songs I know off of the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack that I need to do like an EP of covers from it because I've got enough. I honestly have enough that I should go ahead and just do it.
Fantastic.
There's
That's
another,
a 20,
there's another
Oh,
album.
bro,
I know.
2022
Okay.
goals.
That's like me with Attack on Titan soundtrack. Like, if
Oh, it's so
like,
good. Oh my God,
like,
it's so good.
Bro, it's Hiroyuki Sawano. Like, how could he's like a soundtrack god. like anytime a track from Attack on Titan starts playing, like I do like the Jimmy Neutron mind trick, and it's like I can picture the scene in front of me.
This is all Greek to me. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh,
Cowboy Bebop is fucking awesome.
Yep.
Okay, I mean,
and
I'm not
would
saying it's
absolutely-
not. I just don't know.
Oh, it's
I
flawless.
would love to see. I would love to see Ilhan Omar and Lauren Boebert throw hands.
Yes.
That would be awesome. We should
I'm
be at
just
that
so
point. We
sick
should
of
be
it.
at the point where like what it's like Turkish parliament where they're throwing shoes and also throwing hands. Like
Yeah.
we should be at that point in the collapse or relocation of the
Mhm.
Roman Empire, the capital of the Roman Empire. We should be at that spot, but maybe it's the tech, maybe it's the culture. Instead of throwing hands, we're doing reality TV bits, and they're doing
Mhm.
like the Real Housewives of Congress shit, and that's essentially
Yep.
like what this has been reduced to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Ugh. It's just so
It's
annoying.
Just like, it's like you see them starting to drop the facade, but then they still have that sense of like, oh no, we're congressmen. We have to be refined and civil about this. It's like, no, you fucking don't.
Oh my
Speaking
god,
of
dude!
drama-
They're complaining about the stuff that Lauren what's her face is saying, and then they're like in voting for shit. I mean, you guys,
Yeah.
I can't.
You want to talk about
can't.
facades?
Yeah,
When I went
of
to
course.
DC, so I went to DC as part of Sunrise's 500 squad, which I was conflicted about doing because Sunrise is essentially a center stop. But
Yeah.
it was a free ticket to DC, and I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyways, I got within 10 feet of AOC, probably 8 feet of AOC, and I've gotten really good at reading people, especially in high energy like situations like a protest. And I got to tell you, being right next to her in real life when she was speaking to the crowd, to me, it just the vibe I got off of her confirmed every cynical suspicion I have about her.
Yeah.
And like she didn't even put, she's such an actress, and she didn't even put much effort into her speaking to the Sunrise crowd. And I think that's because there was no mainstream media there.
Yeah.
I think if there had been mainstream media and not just a couple cameras and Sunrise's in-house documentary crew, she would have turned it up to like 15, but instead it was like a 2.
Yeah.
And-
I'm conflicted about her acting skills because she does have a lot of people fooled, but she's also a terrible over actress. Like it's terrible. Like her acting coach or whoever works with her needs to tell her to tone it down a little bit because she's so over the top. You know what I mean?
The thing
It's
is, she was over the top and not like in such a way at this climate protest that she was just moralizing with platitudes. That's how she was over the top.
That's what they
She
all
didn't
do.
bring the fake emotion she usually does. It was really weird.
Oh, you didn't get any crocodile tears? That's unfortunate. I
No,
would
we
like to
didn't
see
get any
those in
crocodile
person.
tears. The funny thing is, she wasn't the only member of the squad to show up.
What is this?
Hi.
Sorry.
Oh.
Hey, do you want to say hey to everybody?
Hey, little man.
Hi, dude.
This is Fox.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi, Fox.
Hey, Fox.
Dude just had a birthday recently too.
He did. 5.
Are you 5? Oh, he's so
Yep.
cute. Oh, little nugget. I love little nuggets.
I won't be much longer, okay?
Dude, he looks tired.
He is. It's been a long day.
Yeah. I even took a nap and I'm tired, y'all. But yeah, these fuckers have a lot of people fooled though, which is what,
They
it
got
frustrates
the
me because I would love to not have to talk
entire
about these assholes anymore. But
She
so
got
many
the
people
entire
still
crowd
buy
to
into this
chant her
shit.
name
Yeah.
Ugh.
at DC. Like the entire Sunrise protest group turned into these lemmings shouting AOC. And I got swept up in it halfway through for about 2 seconds. I accidentally. That's how good she is.
A lot of them are in the audience for a reason. Like they're
Yeah.
there for, it is an op. It's definitely an op. Sunrise is
And
definitely an op.
Yeah, and it's just like, really? Like, okay, if you're not an op, you're not going to have the money to individually fly out 500 people for a single protest.
Well,
And
Robbie
reimburse.
Yeager already exposed their finances. Shout out to Robbie. Robbie.
Right.
Dude, best in the business. Go
Yeah.
and politify. Go check it out.
Exactly, because so they flew me out, and they flew at least 3 other people that I invited out. My plane ticket was almost $1,000.
Wow.
So if you figure, okay, that plus the hostel they put the 3 of us from Utah up in was probably $1,000 per person. Now, Utah flights may be more expensive, they may be less expensive, but if we just scale that to the 500 people they flew out, they threw $500,000 in a protest that did nothing. They're a total op.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And they're also an op. So they follow this Democratic Party mindset of failing upwards, in the sense that if you don't organize with them for a very long time and like have several roles, they will never consider you for a paid position, regardless of how good you are or what experiences you can bring to the table. And they're also very racist. There's been a lot of bombshells about.
Like, stop. There's no racism anywhere near the left. It's only on the right.
Well, they ain't the left.
I know.
They're liberals, which by
here, because they like to pretend that it's, solely a right-wing issue.
I'm not saying racism doesn't exist on the actual left. I am saying Sunrise is not the actual left.
No, for sure. Nowhere near. Although, what the fuck does I'm so tired of this conversation. The actual left. What the fuck does that even mean? I'm so sick of this shit. I'm so sick of labels. I'm so sick of the red blue bullshit. I'm so sick of all of that stuff. I'm so fucking sick of it.
But the problem is actual left starts at anti-capitalist. So you can be anti-capitalist and hold some really problematic positions. So yeah, there's plenty of racists on the actual left.
I'm just tired of that whole fucking conversation. I'm so sick
the
of
whole
it.
No
I'm
True
so sick of
Scotsman
trying
thing.
to play into it, and the whole people are far more complicated than left, right, blue, red. But nuance is dead. Nuance is gone. It died a long time ago. I don't think we're ever getting it back.
My grandmother, who is basically a fascist, would have voted for Bernie. I wore her down enough to vote for Bernie had he made it through the primaries.
Bernie sucks, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
fuck Bernie.
The image I gave her of Bernie is better than Bernie actually is, but I didn't realize that at the time.
I think that
I'm down to make this black pilled with Comrade Misty.
Let's go.
And we can actually kind of talk about this for a minute, because Western leftism from the 50s on, from the best of my ability, from what I can tell, from all the schools of thought that it really leads back to, seems to be principally driven by intelligence operations.
Yes.
100%.
There's a reason I don't usually call AOC AOC. I call her by her actual name of AOCIA.
I mean, at the theory level, at the critical thought level, from academia down, through thought leaders and beyond into basically, most of it, and and that's why you see quote unquote Antifa cheering on Big Pharma right now.
Yes.
And known criminals and liars and cheering on the idea of the current state, this one, the one that we have, the one that Donald Trump's administration legislated immunity to pharmaceutical manufacturers to, that cheering on that state, Antifa, cheering on that, siding with that state, and calling you, Misty, I've seen it, like a crazy right winger for going, hang on, wait a minute, hear me out. I'm not saying this one thing is what you're saying it is. I'm saying that these guys should not be trusted based on all available evidence, and asking questions isn't treason. That isn't fascism. Asking questions is kind of important. And when you've got whatever the left is, it's vast swaths of those under very, very many different flags claiming to be parts of the left, and almost all of them claim to be the real left. It's like every other political party, only libertarians are more like feral about it. You know what I mean? Where whoever is a real libertarian, only the,
which is funny because your Gold Party isn't even libertarian in the traditional sense, but don't get me started on that.
Right now, I mean, you're absolutely. Although, if you look at like Agorist, or if you look at Egoist, that is more what would be considered libertarian socialism, and the idea of the Paris experiment and the Paris Commune in the 1750s. What they were calling the pathway to anarchy was quote unquote libertarian socialism. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of people that do understand that within various segments of the quote unquote libertarian school of thought, but I don't think any of them were lining up to vote for Joe Jorgensen.
No, this is why I hate labels, though, because like what left means to me is completely different than what left means to somebody else. What socialism, nobody has any idea what the fuck these words mean, and they all just like hold on to their own little personal definition. And
language is fluid. So
yes, and it's like when you start calling Nancy Pelosi a progressive, and then there are people on the right who call Joe Biden a communist. Shit's fucked up. Words have no meaning. That's why I fucking despise labels. That's why, like, I've always kind of just generally broadly labeled myself as a leftist, because I feel like that was vague enough. But even now, I'm like, it like creeps me out to even just say that, because it's like, I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Corner, and if I made me say, okay, what's your political persuasion? I'd say I'm a tanky, but that's even
I don't deal with isms. I don't give a shit about your ism. I don't care. Like all of your ideas, like none of them have it all 100% correct. None of you, like you all like have some good ideas, but all of you are fucked up in the head. And I don't give a shit about your isms. I don't care. I don't care. Like you can have them all. You can whatever. I am more interested in just like figuring out what works best for everybody in a broader sense. Like it's people get so wedded to these teams. It's fucking teams. Like they just jump into their
high school. It's high school sports mentality is what it is. Luckily, I was never infected with that.
Which high school sports mentality and the fact that words don't have any meaning brings us back to, we need to have our politicians competing via feats of strength. If we want to prove anything, it needs to be on the field of battle. Am I wrong?
CrossFit competition.
Trial by combat. Congressional edition. Yeah, let's do it.
God, it's such a shit show. You guys, it's such a fucking shit. Everything's a shit show. Like they're
Okay. You take Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein and you give them both weapons that are too heavy to lift. And only one of them can leave.
Yes, phenomenal.
Someone's got to muster up some chutzpah and just
need a working class coalition. I'm so fucking tired of people calling me a Nazi because I say this. Shut the entire fuck up. I'm so sick of you assholes. So tired of it. How the fuck Y'all, how the fuck else do you expect to win? How the fuck else do you expect? Like somebody posted earlier on Twitter. Where is it? I had it. Hold on, I had it. Oh, a really amazing clip today. Oh, what the fuck
While
is
you're
happening?
finding that, I saw someone post something that basically said that what was it? They're trying to be sardonic, but they basically said that a working class coalition in 1930s Germany wouldn't have saved the Jews, to try and say that class-based organizing won't work. I'm just like, that's ahistorical as
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
just-
that's exactly what we need. That's exactly what we fucking need. I'm so tired of it. Okay, here I found it.
oh no.
What do you think that these
Can you guys
executives
hear
are
it?
afraid you're going to do to white America?
Probably stop some racism.
Stop racism.
Yeah, I'm probably afraid
Oh,
people don't hate each other, and people start talking to each other, and then they start talking to each other. They find out who's the problem.
Which is
Greedy people.
greedy. I have a couple things I want to ask you there. Do you really think that some of the guys that you dealt with in NBC, no names, right? Because there's lawsuits for that too. That some of these guys really want to promote racism actively, or is it a subconscious?
I just think it's part of capitalism, is to promote racism. It's work. If you feel better because you're white and you can get a job, you use that. I mean, I would.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry, Jack, but shit, they say I'm white. I'm gonna use this.
That's right. Absolutely.
Get this job. I'm hungry. But and that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but
Now, all right, you and I are about the same age, right? We're in our mid-30s. How long is it going to take before guys who think like you, and I say guys who think like me, people who don't want to have racism in the country, people who don't want to be oppressing any minority, whatever it is, sexual, whatever minority, really get into positions of power and can change things?
you can't get in a position of power, it seems, if you think like that. It seems that the only time you get in a position of power is if you like the people that are in power. To me, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, people that get to become executives become like the people that were already executives.
I don't know, maybe
They go in with good intentions, but it eats them up. It's like a cesspool. It just gets on you and it
the
starts
system
eating.
levels.
Pretty soon it's
Is
all
that
gone.
what a cesspool sounds like?
Yes.
That's
But dude,
awesome.
I'm
Man.
so tired of people telling me that I'm a fucking Nazi for saying shit like that. Are you joking me? Like, if you want to destroy capitalism, if you are legitimately serious about destroying capitalism, then that's what the fuck we do. That's exactly
Right.
what the fuck we do.
Well,
we
I
come
just-
together.
Right. So one of the projects I'm working on that I'm kind of, I really want to see happen, but I'm mad because it's like nobody actually wants to put, and I'm not talking about money per se, but like even rhetorical support or whatever. I'm trying to, so you can call me a colonizer if you want, but I bought some land a couple years ago and it's about to be paid off in March. And the whole point was to do like restorative permaculture when I bought it and just give back to the environment, be a good steward. But I realized you can do so much more. And so what I'm trying to do now is turn it into basically a mutual aid farm where people, where whatever the produce is, I transport it from the land to my community. And then we do a kind of outside of capitalism barter system where if you don't have anything to give, you still get food.
They're gonna
If you-
shut you down.
If you have food or if you can knit clothes and you want to exchange some clothes to go towards the community pool and get some food, great. If you want to give time and drive out to Nevada with me and help me work the farm, great. If you want to give me cash so I can pay like property taxes and stuff, sure, but that's the last case scenario because I want it to exist off the system as much as possible. But the problem is getting the resources to do that requires actually
A working class coalition of people, a lot of people coming
that
together.
either that either will just do it and not
Nazi
care
talk,
about the
Misty.
system.
I know. I'm such an asshole.
Either you
Such
have
a
to have a
fascist.
critical
Fash
mass
fam,
of
confirmed.
critical mass of people saying, you know what, screw the system, we're going to do it anyway. It's the difference between getting a permit to dig a well and just digging a well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or getting a
Fuck
permit
it.
to do a promise test that isn't going to do anything, and some actual radical direct action. It's so I'm trying to make this work, and everybody's passing around the same $20 the last 2 years, so I am working 4.5 jobs right now to try and get this off the ground.
Jesus.
But I know if I do that for more than about a month, I'll probably kill myself just from the strain. So yeah, I'm just really frustrated.
They'll shut you down. That's why we need lots of people doing that.
Right.
'Cause just
If
one
it's just
little
me,
group like that, yeah.
If it's just me, so there's a threshold. If it's just me and I'm just giving away food and I don't do anything to make it obvious that it's a massive operation, I can fly under the radar for a bit. But the second I actually start to affect my community positively, if there's not more than just me, it's going to backfire. They're going to shut it down, or they're going to absorb it, like they did with the Black Panthers breakfast program.
Not just the
Yes.
breakfast program in Los Angeles. They had the in the I forget if it was the 60s or the 70s, but in between the period of their operation, they had the Jonathan Jackson Educational Cadre in the projects in South Central, I believe. I don't know the exact geography, but it was within LA County, and essentially what happened, the reason why it was shut down was not only because of COINTELPRO, but because of LAPD literally had their own conspiracy division, which began to inundate the whole, like, the kind of leaders of the community out of existence. And yeah.
I don't know how we get more people on board with that. Steve's been talking about this shit forever, but I don't know how we get more people on board with working outside the system. It's like people are, I know it's because they've just been like,
The system has to fail them.
Yeah, I don't, people have just been browbeat into thinking that this is the best that it gets.
It's
yeah.
already,
It has to fail them so violently
here's
that
on a
the thing.
grand scale.
push
Time
past
out.
the cognitive.
Time out. The system, we're in the relocation of the capital of Rome. We're in it. Even as fucked as Chomsky is, Chomsky puts the decline of the American empire at 1946. That's when the decline of the American empire began. He's basically right, sort of. I'd put it a little bit early, but whatever.
When did we start importing
Woodrow
Nazis?
Wilson, Federal Reserve and all that shit. But the point is, what we have in general. Okay, there's been a debate going on forever about how politics is downstream from culture. Well, upstream from culture is the technology by which you spread the ideas that allow culture to develop. And currently, we're using the technology to develop the culture in the quote unquote independent media space to be clickbait react channels instead of organizations and individuals that spread both reality and ideas that allow for things like opting out of the technocratic state to occur. Do you know what I mean? So when we're talking about, this is why I hate talking about fucking politics, right? Because politics is downstream from everything else that we've largely been talking about. It's all the way downstream, it's the real activity, the real I don't know. The real ideas, the real focus has got to be at what is driving and generating culture, or else all we're doing is reacting. We can't do that. If you want to affect any sort of change, you've got to be driving the change through the mechanism that defines the culture. So we can't just be sitting back and going, oh my God, did you see that this politician behaved exactly like every other politician has always behaved, always for the history of politicians since they fucking existed? Fuck, aren't we surprised? Super chat for your outrage. Woohoo! You know, like that's it, it's great for, you know, a fucking failed model, right? Who has
If you
a
want to
rich
talk about a good model for a government, let's talk about the USSR, but let's not go there.
Lord Putin
I
would appreciate
prefer
that
no
conversation.
government.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
authoritarianism.
The thing
no
is-
matter the shape of the hat, is, you know, authoritarianism.
See, I disagree with the need for no government, because eventually, yes, but we're not going to get out of all the crises we face. Like, we're not going to undo climate chaos, especially, or the instilled levels of reactionary thinking without a centralized power that is of the working class. That's my take.
Okay, so in the first, you could end the climate crisis right now by dismantling the internet.
Government
for a
causes
week.
most of the problem.
Capitalist government does.
Yeah.
The volcano that went off in Iceland about 7 years ago, the one that had like a ridiculous amount of letters in it. It was, or maybe 3 years ago, something like a ridiculously long name. The amount of carbon that was issued in that volcanic eruption represents more carbon than humanity has been able to generate in the history of humanity. In that
Okay,
one
but
eruption.
looking at it that way,
Like,
is,
and hang on. We need to, yes, demilitarize 100%. The United States military is the largest global polluter. 100%. Yes, there are
there
a
are
lot of ways that you can do
100
things differently.
multinational corporations responsible for 70% of
What-
the human's pollution. The other
And how many
15%
of those
comes
are
from the US
responsible
military.
for the messaging and funding the groups that are pushing all of the Green New Deal bills
I'm not
and
for
all of the
a Green New Deal. I'm
technology
for a Red
that
New
is
Deal.
all based on extracting rare earth minerals and lithium and cobalt? The
Right, which
materials
is why the Green
required
New
to
Deal is a
power
farce.
the green technology are going to destroy what's left of the planet. So there's got to be a solution that doesn't rely on centralized distribution of all of this, because otherwise the
If you don't,
technology you need to provide it is going to destroy the planet you're trying to save.
okay, but first of all, saying, oh, the Earth sometimes emits more carbon than we do is not the point. The Earth has always emitted carbon. It has it before we disrupted most of it. It has the ability to resync that carbon over time. The problem is what we add to it is more than the planet's cooling system has capacity for. And second of all, I haven't seen an incarnation of the Green New Deal that's not an imperialist power grab, so I'm more for a Red New Deal. But what I'm saying is, if we want to avert our self-inflicted extinction, we need basically a global, like either China or the USSR has to come back. And I know but I didn't mean to hijack the conversation. I'm just saying there is a difference between a worker's transitional state, keyword being transitional, and your capitalist governments. That's all I'm saying. Frankly, if we had a system focused on degrowth and actual regenerative tech, we would be putting our money and resources behind figuring out hemp tech. Hemp
the problem with that is when you get centralized power, it corrupts people. I mean, you know what I'm
not
saying?
necessarily. Just
When is it not?
Because centralized power is the way we experience it is corrupting. But what I'm talking about is, I'm not good enough at theory to explain it, but what I'm trying to say is there is a roadmap to avoiding our extinction, but I don't think it's going to happen. That's what I was trying to say.
At every point that we've witnessed thus far, that roadmap involves a culling of human beings and a seizing of,
it requires a culling of the pursuit of economic growth. It requires degrowth. It requires investing
I'm aware like what the theoretical concepts are. I'm very familiar with them.
We can literally grow batteries that outperform any artificial battery made with lithium or graphene.
No argument. I would go a step further and argue that the Earth itself is a battery.
Well, yeah,
but
my point is the focus on
our
extractive technology as part of the Green New Deal.
Stupid. It's backwards. The idea of the internal combustion engine is a counterproductive and in fact like opposite.
We had electric cars before we had the internal combustion engine,
and they didn't need lithium ion.
No,
but these electric cars do, and there's a reason for that.
They don't need lithium. Like, even if you wanted to...
The reason now is because there's a multi-trillion-dollar resource grab industry based off of it.
Exactly.
And will be
You can literally use hemp fibers and an ionic solution to create supercapacitors that outperform any known variation of lithium-ion batteries and even graphene supercapacitors. So this idea that the tech to save us would inherently kill us.
Dude, of course we have, yes, we could do all of those things. We're not going to do it though. Nobody's ever going to do this shit, ever. Nobody's ever going to do this shit. Why? Because it isn't profitable.
Unless
hence the need for
unless you take advantage of the opportunity that we're about to get heading into the winter, where there's either going to be a total capitulation on all of the mandates, and they're going to have to pull back and recalibrate for a little bit, and everybody's going to have to go back to sleep, and they're going to have to get all scared again around 2024. They're going to be another presidential election, and it's going to be totally...
It's the most important election of all time.
The most important election of your life. The corona's not going away. There's terrorism.
If you do not vote for the cop and Boy Wonder Spook, you are a Nazi.
Now, Corona is never going anywhere.
No.
I'm gonna
of course fucking not.
It never was. That's the thing. That's what colds do. A coronavirus still in general, right? We can all largely agree that that's what coronaviruses are.
Did you guys know that one of the coronaviruses commonly believed to be responsible for the common cold, it's known as OKC3, would create a false positive on the COVID-19 tests?
Oh, Jesus. We can talk about the PCR test all day long.
PCR isn't even meant for tests.
Actually, we shouldn't do that because I don't know if you can do this on YouTube. See, back in March of last year, and then throughout the rest of 2020, we were demonetized because we were talking about all of this. We were talking about the failure.
I did an article, actually.
All that kind of shit. I got in a lot of trouble for it.
Yeah. You guys are you guys still demonetized? Or did you get it back?
Oh, yeah. No.
You're still demonetized? I know Convo Couch is still demonetized. You all, the censorship that is coming. Dude, what the fuck? The guy that's taking over Twitter is
Ooh,
we're
he's
so
frightening.
fucked. We are so fucked.
He is
Yeah,
frightening.
I am so tired of trying to convince people that this is a bad fucking thing, that all of the shit that's happening, that Craig Murray going to jail and Julian Assange still being tortured and all of this stuff, like, it's a bad fucking thing. All of this stuff, like, this is the front fucking line. Are you joking? Anybody who doesn't recognize the fact that
And I hate it
narrative
when
control
people-
and the way that they control, you are literally being programmed to think against your own interest. You are literally, I don't even know what to say to people. Like, there are still people who are acting like that's not a problem that's happening. That's a problem that's happening. Are you joking?
No, but I disagree with Julian Assange on a couple political positions.
No, they don't even
he's
agree with
allowed
Julian.
to hang
They
out,
don't
and
even
I'm gonna
disagree with
become
Julian
a
Assange.
complete cynic.
There are people who disagree with me and who have then decided that they're never going to fight for press freedom because they don't like me. You are a fucking child.
There are
Oh,
people, there are
that's not
people
fair to
who have
children.
stopped
Pretty
fighting for press
suspicious that
freedom.
you're putting all your energy on one white guy, Misty.
Oh my
I gotta
God, I'm
say.
such an
Pretty
asshole.
sus.
It's because I'm a Nazi. Duh. Obviously,
You know
I'm a
what?
fucking racist Nazi.
It's not fair to children to call these brain dead political lemmings that do what we just described children. Because frankly,
That's fair.
children
That's an insult to
are-
children.
Mhm.
That is an
It's-
insult to children.
it's an insult to children. It's an insult to pretty much anything other than fly larvae. that I can
Yeah,
remember.
these people are unbelievably ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like, I can't even. I try, honestly, I try really hard. I don't think I get near enough fucking credit for biting my tongue as much as I fucking do. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
probably
People
true.
attack me on a regular fucking basis and I don't say shit. I could call you out. I could 100% go after you hardcore. I don't. I ignore you. I block you. I mute you and I ignore you. And I don't get near enough fucking credit for putting up with the shit I put up with.
Right.
Seriously.
You know what?
People
Credit,
attack me
credit,
daily.
Mhm.
Good job, Misty. Good
Thank
job,
you.
Misty.
You know
Thank
how
you.
I've
There's your
avoided
credit.
getting attacked daily, or how I have in the past, is every time a mob would come after me, I'd rebrand my Twitter and change my handle. But I don't do
Why
that
would I
anymore.
fucking do that? Fuck those
I
people.
don't do that anymore, but I
Yeah,
used
fuck
to.
that shit. I don't
So-
care. That's the thing, is that these people, I live in their fucking heads. They talk about me on a daily basis. And listen, y'all, I love you. I do. I love you. The only time I hear about what those fuckwads have to say is when y'all send me screenshots, and I don't fucking care. I do not fucking care. I love you. I honestly, I do. And I get that you're like, there's a reason why people send me screenshots. You're trying to like, hey, let me know these people are talking
Yeah.
shit about you. I don't fucking care. I don't care. They're clowns. They're
They
absolute
are.
fucking clowns. If
It
you don't like
really
me, that's
enrages
fine. I don't
me.
give a shit. But you, first of all, you don't get to then throw that onto the entirety of the American Assange movement. Are you joking? You are a
Oh,
fucking
my
idiot.
Mhm.
God.
And you know what
Unfucking
makes me
believable.
really
And
angry
you know
about
what?
this?
That person too, Misty, that person too was so fucking ass mad because I got invited onto Richie's show to talk about the Clovis for Assange event.
Oh,
But
I am so fucking
I'm
sick of these people.
American. Oh no.
You know what
I am
makes me
so
really angry?
fucking sick of these people. I am legitimately, you are a absolute fucking moron. You are going to, okay, you have a personal beef with me, and so you're going to shit on every single American Assange supporter. You can come for me all day long. Don't come for my fams. Do not
Right.
fucking come. I will, that's what, it pisses me off because the Assange movement has, and there have been people who've been in this for a decade. I was a casual supporter of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks for a long time, but I didn't get super activated until he got pulled out of the embassy. And that's on me. Like, I should have taken it more seriously before, but I'm not going to stand for people shitting on activists who have been dedicated and persistent and fighting for over a decade for press. You don't get to do that. You don't get to take your personal beef with
I've
me
only
and
been
shit
in,
on
like-
everybody else.
Yeah,
That's
I've
how
only
I don't
been
do
in
it.
shit for like
Not
2 years
just-
too.
freeing Assange, but also MMT activism. And like,
I don't care. I mean, anybody who shits on other activists for personal beef, you're an idiot. I have
there
no.
are so many people who come for like my work and my like real progressives families work because either they hate us or, you know, the founder of the organization, Steve Grumbine, is not he doesn't lie about his political past. So his awakening and radicalization from like a Rand Paul loving Republican, I think is how he described himself, something like that, to where he is now is something we all should laud, because we all should be given the space to realize where we're wrong, break out of the programming, and learn more. And it makes me so angry when, regardless of the issue, people just try to, I don't know. they get so caught up in the labels or what they're told about someone, or the idea that, oh my gosh, this person said something bad, that they don't care about the issue that person is pushing. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's not only Assange, or it's not only MMT. Like, healthcare justice movement is a mess, like internally
Yes.
and also from the outside. I'm like actually, frankly, very sick of it. I'm so
I'm sick and tired of people
Yeah.
thinking we can pass any form of meaningful healthcare reform with ballot initiatives. And I may be the outlier in this group, but I do believe that political nihilism will be the death of us. So I get being black-pilled, but I think it's... I won't go too much into that, but it makes...
my thing is like, I just get so tired of like people who do nothing but criticize and constantly snipe at actual activists, but then aren't doing shit.
Thank you.
It's like
Yeah.
and they're even, and the thing is not only, and there are like, bright people doing this too, where they'll constantly snipe at anyone they disagree with. And at that point, it's like, well, how are you even gonna let people like hear the ideas that you have when you're so focused on acting like a fucking cunt and like embalming yourself within this consistent echo chamber of like, oh my God, I hate everyone.
Dude,
Yeah,
there's a
civics
whole-
united. And it's like,
there's a whole
fuck's
crew of people
sake,
right
like,
now who just learned about other political prisoners. Like 5 seconds ago, they just figured out, there's some political prisoners. And because I focus on Julian Assange and I don't dedicate more energy to those people, I'm not to be taken seriously. I'm a racist. I'm only standing up for white people.
Ridiculous.
And this, okay, here's the thing. If you think that those people are not getting enough attention, and they're not, you're absolutely right about that. They are not getting enough attention.
Then
But if
do
you
the
think that,
legwork
then spend your time
yourself.
calling more attention. Why don't you organize something? Go organize something for that
And you
person.
know what?
Stop.
I
I'm one person.
Right, and none of us
one
are
person.
omniscient.
Spend so
None of us are
much fucking
omniscient.
time.
And-
You know what? I spend more time working on Commander X's defense
Yes, you do.
than I do for Julian Assange. And you don't hear me saying shit about, oh my God, why do people focus so much on Assange when
Stop
Commander
pitting
X
political
is
prisoners
right
against
in
each other.
California. Commander X is right in y'all's backyard. And it's like, you don't hear me saying shit. First of all, because, like someone like Mumia, he actually agrees with Julian Assange and the need for him to be released. And two, I would look fucking stupid if my advocacy consisted of just shitting on other movements instead of focusing on propping up my own in conjunction with
Exactly.
their movement.
Well, and
Exactly.
you're
What
somebody
happened
that
to
actually
solidarity?
does something too. That's the difference too. You're actually working towards Commander X. So if you were expressing some disappointment that he's not getting enough attention as Julian Assange, that would suck. But I would still be okay. At least she's putting in the work. These are people who don't do shit. They don't do shit. They don't organize anything. They just learned who these people were yesterday, and all of a sudden, I'm an asshole for focusing my attention on something. I don't know. I'm one person. Glory's one person. We can only do so much. If you find something that you think is worthy of more effort and energy and resources, then go fucking do something about it. Stop worrying about what I'm doing. Seriously.
And people that
Here's
want
the
to
thing.
attack. Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
People that want to attack Assange activists in the name of any other cause really call themselves out for the fact that they don't understand the gravity of Assange's case. Because again, if more people haven't heard about the issue you're passionate about, it's for the same thing Julian was warning you about, that kind of suppression, that kind of censorship. And if you can't get the word out, or you're mad everyone doesn't know about Mumia, or anything, that's what we've been talking about, and that's what Julian was talking about, and that's why freedom of press and freedom of fucking internet and freedom of speech is so important, and the window's closed, if not almost closed.
And it makes me mad when people use how to put this. To me, there's a difference between saying, okay, you and I agree on this issue, let's figure out how best to tackle this issue. And what most people do, it seems, which is, okay, we both want healthcare reform, or we both want freedom of speech, or we both want whatever, but it's my way or I'm going to dunk on you.
Right.
And like I am gonna clout chase and I'm gonna dunk on you and I'm gonna use rad lib identity politics to make me look superior to you, because then it becomes about the ego and appearance of the person doing the work and not about the work. And like so I've been really frustrated with that. It's like people are so enamored with, like, at the end of the day, when there's a general strike or when we get a national health service because of a general strike, I don't care if people remember that I started advocating for a national health service earlier than some other people. I care that we freaking won. Like, that's what matters. It shouldn't matter. I mean, yes, recognition is nice, but it's not something we should chase at the expense of everything else. And it makes me furious when people are so.
It could be as simple as to just have like, okay, you and I are passionate about the same issue. Let's work on that issue, and that's it. Not, okay, cool, we agree on this one thing. Here's my list of 14 other things you have to agree with me on, or else I don't want to.
Why do you love Nazis? You must
Yep.
love Nazis.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And the other thing is,
and again, I do have hard no issues. There are some things I don't want to waste my time working with someone. If you're an absolute bigot, I'm not going to, but I can, someone can disagree with me on some, basic stuff that, again, you can talk with someone about class consciousness and labor for a long time and be on the same page, and then you bring up a political party, and then you're like, oh, and then there's some rift, and so it isn't there until we put it there,
I mean, but
and the other thing with that,
me going and lip-syncing a fucking like Ukrainian SS Totenwaffen member from the fucking like Auschwitz-Birkenau or some shit, versus like me working with a libertarian to free Julian Assange, or me reaching out to maybe some liberals who think that Commander X should go free or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't.
I don't give a shit. Here's the thing. If I care about an issue, then I do not give a shit. I don't care. I don't care what ism you follow. I don't care. Like, if you want to talk about freeing Palestine, then let's talk about that. I don't give a shit what else you think about whatever. I don't care where you stand on abortion. I don't care where you stand on healthcare. I don't care where you stand on gay marriage. I don't care about any of that stuff. I give a shit about Palestine. I want Palestine to be free. So I'll work with anybody. I don't care.
One thing at a time.
Take your ego out of it, for the love of God.
Right.
So annoying.
If you can't stand next to someone who you deeply disagree with on two things to win the one thing that'll save lives that you do agree on, you're a deeply unserious person.
I love that.
Go ahead, the elephant in the room, or maybe the unaddressed thing, because it's not an elephant in the room. That's the wrong phraseology there. The thing that we haven't brought up yet. Me too. It is that the vast majority of people become activists for all the wrong reasons. And the vast majority of the people that rise to prominent positions in large activist organizations are quickly co-opted, but also are the types of individuals that put their neuroses front and center and demand that not only that you recognize and cater to those neuroses, but that you allow the entire organization to become hijacked by them. And that's not helping. It's not. So my point is the reason that I talk about on the show all the time, ascension as opposed to revolution, is that a revolution just brings you right back to where you started, whereas ascension, you're actually, there's a genuine progression of thought and movement.
It turns out words do matter.
So, they really do. And the deliberate destruction of language is something that I go absolutely insane over. But God damn it. I had something too. I did. I was going somewhere.
I hate it. I hate it when that happens.
Thrown off track. But I guess what I'm really trying to say is that if we're going to try to do something as activists, there's got to be a recognition that most of the people that are on the ground or in like, large scale leadership are probably pretty fucking I broken and highly susceptible to co-option, and that if you're not a whole person, maybe you shouldn't be in that. If you're not capable of doing what the fuck ever on your own, you got no business trying to help anybody else out.
Well, see, I disagree because to a degree, because in organizing for anything, we all have skill sets, and there are so many roles that in a true organizational movements, yes, the neuroses and cult-like thought is a problem, but it shouldn't be an issue if I don't show up physically if what I have to give is digital. Or the flip side, if what I have to give is showing up at protests and putting myself at risk of direct legal exposure next to cops, but I can't educate because that's not my wheelhouse. Like, I feel like we have to reclaim the idea of community and like working together. And so I disagree with the idea that if you can't do it on your own, you shouldn't do it. Because humans evolved as social creatures. Empathy is the reason we became the so-called apex species, because without our empathy creating our community bonds, we never would have gotten the advantages of that led to agriculture and other things that gave us the ability to create the technology that keeps us an apex species. So I disagree a little bit there, but the rest is definitely a salient point.
Sorry, I gotta hop in real quick. I gotta bounce. So it's been a pleasure. Much love to everybody.
Yay!
Enjoy.
I'm so glad you came.
Yeah,
You
I know,
come
right?
back more often, please and thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, bye guys. Have a good night.
Bye. Okay, so you can follow Jesse on Twitter at Jesse_Jet. I'll put
That's
his
true.
Bandcamp. Yeah, I'll put his Bandcamp in the chat too. Go, and then especially the new spoken word album is fantastic, and you can check out he
Thank you.
performed the whole damn thing on Facts on the Ground not so long ago, and it was awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys again. Have a good night.
See
Thank
ya.
you, Jesse.
Bye, Fox.
Say bye.
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 Aw,
Bye,
little nugget.
kiddo.
So cute.
I love little nuggets. Okay, so I'm putting the Bandcamp link in chat right now for everybody. Seriously, the new spoken word album is pretty fan-fucking-tastic. I was gonna say something about the chat and then I forgot what I was gonna say. Motherfucker. Also, I just put Steve's GoFundMe. Steve's got his GoFundMe for Slow News Day up. It's in the chat. Somebody said something about Steve kicking ass, so I put it in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Go check that out, please and thank you.
We've got cool stuff coming up, and it looks like, because I've been doing these morning shows, and people seem to dig it, and people really enjoyed it the other week when former Redacted Tonight correspondent John F. O'Donnell came on the show. He and I have been talking quite a bit since. He'll be coming on next Thursday, and that might become like a regular thing.
Nice.
Where John F. O'Donnell comes on.
That's awesome.
He just followed me on
talks
Twitter
some
recently.
shit.
I was so excited.
You know what's
Nice.
speaking of regular recurring things and responding to my friend Eddie who's watching this right now. We're actually trying to start a new podcast. We're calling it Dismantling Consent. We're trying to be an additional, I don't know how to define it, but like an additional fighting against the narratives and narrative control they've been pushing on us so successfully. But I guess that's not something you get angry about, so sorry. What something I do that does make me angry is that, and again, I might be the outlier here, but this idea that a featherless biped is a man in the context of political organizing. And what I mean by that is the idea that anything that has the shape of a government is inherently bad. Like, it's like saying a chicken is identical to a human is identical to a freaking monkey NFT. All three of those are featherless bipeds. They're entirely different things, and they serve entirely different functions. So that I just want to push back on nihilism a little bit. Like, I get it, but I think we have to let revolutionary optimism win out our political.
I don't really think it's nihilism, though. I think it's just realism. I think it's just, the empire is failing. There is no stopping it. We need to start organizing outside the system and being.
And I agree with
what's coming.
All of that, but decentralization isn't going to stop what's coming. Organizing out the system to create a democratic centralist, basically federation of people, is what's going to stop what's coming.
I don't know that there's any way of saying that that's going to stop it either.
Yeah,
there is no stopping it.
Isn't that also organizing outside of the system?
It's organizing outside the system to create an alternate system.
You can be federated and decentralized.
I'm saying that this
is possible.
That decentralization and no central authority is going to save us from fascism or the climate crisis or censorship or a lack of freedom of speech is, in my view, pretty asinine.
I would say that what it does is it offers you vastly more choices if you encounter that censorship or that.
I'm not saying our systems shouldn't be decentralized. I'm saying you have to have both. You have to have what Lenin basically described as democratic
I'm not
centralism.
arguing that there shouldn't be in places that choose to run themselves that way a centralized system if that's what you want to do. What I'm saying is that there are a fuck ton of people who do not want that and should.
Okay, so at what point does personal choice win out over the survival of the species?
What?
I mean, at what point does for the greater good turn into yet another Holocaust?
Right.
Like
I'm saying we have to balance it. I'm just saying democratic centralism as defined by Leninism is probably the best model we have for balancing the need for a central authority to do the things we need to keep the planet running in a way that's good for people with keeping personal liberties,
at a minimum,
pinched, right? So the problem is, and this is why nihilism makes me mad.
Personal liberties at a minimum.
Right,
we need to be clear about that. Like next to none.
So
I think you're overusing the word nihilism. Frankly, I think it's not that what you're describing isn't necessarily nihilism. It's just a different perceived way of thinking. It's not
people, I'm not saying you are being nihilistic. I'm saying I've seen a lot of people with similar say, oh, there's no point because all governments are bad, or oh, there's no point because the climate crisis is going to kill us anyway. That's what I'm referring to as nihilism, not necessarily this idea that we need to be decentralized. So.
Yeah, no, at no point am I that. I'm not saying there is no point. What I'm saying is,
Yeah, nobody here has said that.
I didn't say you did.
When you
just was
when you look
saying
at
it makes me mad when
all
people.
available evidence in all available incarnations of centralized power, it inherently corrupts, rewards the most corrupt, and in far too many cases
That's not inherently true.
lands on, oh, and by the way, you need to go fuck some kids now. Like it's just
that's not inherently true. I mean,
really,
if we want to look,
point to one,
the USSR
had no corruption.
There was no corruption in the USSR?
I didn't say there was no
Because-
corruption. I said its system wasn't designed.
It did not
to
reward
it.
corruption.
It doesn't matter if it's designed that way. It always ends that way.
It wasn't bureaucratic.
That's what
Stalin
I'm saying.
tried to. It was
That's
democratic.
exactly what I said.
Stalin tried to
Centralized
resign
power
4 times and
structures
wasn't allowed
inherently
to.
breed and reward corruption. It doesn't matter what you idealize or fetishize. That's not the point. The point is when you've got that. When you've got the institution in practice, it breeds and rewards corruption, and
Capitalist institutions do.
corruption.
Feudalist institutions do.
I'm sorry, man, but like we talked to, Jones has actually missed out on these. You need to, if you're not familiar with, read Tessa Lena. Tessa fights robots. Tessa makes love. She's a very wonderful writer. There's something about speaking to people who grew up. She was just on last week and said that as a child, she would speak to Lenin in her head because that's how she was. That's the authority figure that she would speak to and I'm quoting her in this moment. When all the other grown-ups in my life didn't make sense to me, I would go and I would speak to Lenin in my head. Like, this is someone that I believe that you would have value with having a conversation with. And I'm not going to say it anymore. So we go crazy philosophical when she's on. What we talk about, like all kinds of entirely removed from the political space. It's almost like a timeline cleanse for the show, because it's not necessarily always focused on the darkness that we cover. So I think that it would be valuable if you took in her personal experience, her lived experience from this. I do, and that's that. And I'll shut the fuck up on that.
Yeah, I may have perseverated a little too much, and for that I'm sorry. It makes me mad when what I was trying to say is, and I'll shut up after this, is it makes me mad when and I'm not saying that anybody on this stream was doing this, but when people are like, capitulate to the capitalist propaganda that what we have is the only kind of system that can possibly exist, by saying that no system will work. And that infuriates me, because there are so many other models, both theoretical and real, that do work, or at least work better, that we can pull from when we build outside the current system.
Yes, that's my point. Is there is no one ism that I agree with 100%. I'm willing to examine all aspects of everybody's ism, and but I don't like boiling it down to one ideology is the only one right and true ideology, and this is the only proper way to go about things. I'm not down for that. I'm just not down for that. Nobody's got it all correct. And human beings are so different. Like, we all experience things differently. We want different things. We want to live different ways. And so, pigeonholing everybody into one ideology, and this is the way we have to do things, without examining other options. And to me, that just seems really narrow-minded. And it's doomed to fail. That's doomed to fail, because anytime you try to pigeonhole a whole fuck ton of people into one, you're not ever going to get everybody to agree on everything. You're just not. That's never going to happen. And people need to get over the fact that we're not all going to always agree on everything, and we need to just try to figure out the best way to coexist in the most peaceful way possible, to where the biggest thing that we have to do in order to get there is to get past the propaganda that has everybody at each other's throats, when we're not examining the actual problem, which is the system that's designed to kill us all. We can't even have these conversations until we deal with that. Like, we're all talking about all these different ideological differences and all these, but we disagree on abortion. That doesn't even fucking matter. That doesn't fucking matter. We have to deal with the system we're in right now that is completely corrupt to its core. It's designed to kill us all, and it's functioning very efficiently, and we're losing. We are losing.
None of that can happen until the empire is dismantled. I mean,
but you can't dismantle the system or build an alternate one to dismantle the system with, unless you study the systems. So it's a cyclical process of studying, discovery.
That's why you examine all different isms and you decide what. But again, we're never going to agree on one centralized thought process or one centralized.
I'm not saying we should. I'm just on an entirely different tangent. I just saw Bernie's stupid flyer for his stupid Saving American Democracy.
That fuckwad pisses me off. He gets under my skin.
He makes me so mad.
He is such a fake ass. And people still defend this dude. Like, I tweeted at him earlier because he once again, big strongly worded tweet about how old people should be able to keep their teeth. Well, first of all, so should fucking young people. Second of all, another tweet will do it. Shut the fuck up. I'm so tired of this dude, y'all. And anybody who's still defending him, please.
I just want people to admit, it's okay. You can move on. Trust me. I used to be a big Tulsi Gabbard supporter. I was a
Bernie supporter. I mean, not hugely, but I was a Bernie supporter. Like, I voted for him. I phone banked for him. I donated a shit ton of money to him.
Okay, not only did I donate, I'm not saying this to compare, but I'm saying I get it, because I donated a ton of money to Bernie, but I was also the top 20th Bernie victory captain in the country in terms of hours put in and events hosted this last cycle. And I've moved on.
Yeah, I was way done with him.
So I can do it. Anyone should be able to.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to everybody's on their own journey. And I'm really trying hard to be patient with people. But here's the thing. We're out of time. We're out of time. We need people to stop this whole functioning within this two-party bullshit. And I would really love to not be able to talk about it anymore, but it's you almost have to, because we're never going to get anywhere until people recognize how fucking stupid it is.
So hey, I mean, we have functioning black and gray markets in every city, town, state, nation, in the world. I will repeat that. There are markets that operate under counter economics, be they barter trade, alternative currency, whatever, in every single city, town, state, village, doesn't fucking matter, everywhere on the planet. What there is not is the federation of those that Artemis was talking about. So
the closest
what we have is a central bank system that every nation but 6 or 7 are a part of. The dogs bark, it happens. It's all of them. They're all
Gomez.
But but that kind of monopoly on currency is dangerous no matter who has it.
Mhm.
And it
Which is
so the answer for every government right now, every government has the same answer. Let's get all of our people on one central bank cryptocurrency with universal basic income of some sort.
I don't think every government is pushing that, but
Okay, and that's certainly, you know, a conversation that
it's worth
we
having.
could have down the road. We report on it, you know, daily, and have the papers and the reports and all of the you know, like front end work that we've been going through, and sit through all of the soul crushing, you know, economic forums and conferences and shit like that, where everything that ends up being legislation, that those people who have perceived power that we open the show talking about, pretend to have a fight over, and then turn around and do anyway. And like, where all of that happens, what we like to tell people, that if you want to get your news 6 to 12 months early, you should watch our show. And or you can wait, you know. But so when I say that, I say that with relative confidence, because I've done a ridiculous amount of work to, you know, looked at a number of different things and collated them and formed that opinion. And that's why
what's
I say
interesting with bringing up with currency and central banking is, if you look at the how currency actually works, and basically every major, I'm sure they're out there, because I haven't looked at every single of like the 300 nation states there are, but of the bigger ones, I don't think there is a single nation state that still pegs its currency to a fixed resource. I think everybody's running on fiat. And if you look at the hyper accurate description of how currency works, you realize that at the end of the day, it's only a unit of measurement. That's it. And so it's how, what, and why we measure that becomes the problem. And anyways, that's just my way of plugging. Definitely. A lot of people who bring up MMT are like, oh, just read Stephanie Clinton's book, but there's so much more to it than her book. Her book is just the primer. I haven't even read it, but I know enough. And so where was I going with this? I don't know where I was going with this, so I'm just going to shut up now.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I am really tired of people of the Bernie Sanders stuff. Not just Bernie Sanders, but just the people who are falling for the same old bullshit over and over again. It's really exhausting. I just don't know how, like, I mean, I say it all the time. How many times does your government get to lie to you before your sense of skepticism kicks in? Like, how, like, do we have to keep doing? And apparently we do. We have to keep doing this. We have to keep going through this cycle on this bullshit. And it's like Artemis said earlier, like, everybody's convinced themselves, and I say it all the time too, everybody's convinced themselves that this is just the best we can do. This is, you know, best we can
And
get.
that makes me so angry, because
it makes me sad.
It also makes me sad, because not only are there so much proof and evidence we can do better, allowing yourself to believe that this is the best we can do is literally letting the 1% or the capitalists or the bad guys, or however you want to frame the people who are actually running the world into extinction and are the pit of
Y'all,
evil.
you deserve
However you want to
better.
frame that,
You're
deserve letting them
better.
win by saying
Jesus.
that their trash fire of a system is the best we can do.
I don't know. How did COVID not like fucking smack the shit out of everybody and be like, what the hell is happening? I mean, when the CARES Act got passed with like no, y'all, that was like, they just bulldoze money to the rich people again. This is not the first time it's happened, but in the middle of a global pandemic, and a huge economic downturn, they shovel like full on
40% of all money that the United States has ever created was created in 2020 alone. under Donald Trump. Under Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Here's the thing,
And
though.
that's something
All U.S.
that,
dollars in existence had to be created. And the thing is, it's not about the creation of the money isn't the issue. It's about why and how we distribute the money that's being created.
It's
I
a
don't like
slush
money
fund
in
for
general.
sociopathic
No.
pedophiles that never leaves the fucking room once it's magicked into existence from the keystrokes after it's signed, after the appropriations bill or whatever emergency spending bill is signed. I know how the process of creating fiat currency works. I do. I get it. What I'm saying is it is in the system that the vast majority of the Western world operates on, the global South suffers under, and China works its own economic war, not necessarily against, but in conjunction with, to further manipulate everyday ordinary people around the world.
Okay, that's a
That's a
historical.
fucking different
China's
thing.
economic relief is not imperialist in the slightest. It's what economic relief should be.
What it is
I'm not
is
saying it's
a
perfect by any
detonation.
means.
What it is a detonation model that again will ultimately and does end individual autonomy for the people who live in the places where they were born.
Yes, if you use
You can put whatever like mask on it that you want. It is still loss of individual autonomy for the people who were born in the place, for the people who are living in the places where they were born. You're
essentially describing
in any
that
way,
being
shape, or form.
under imperialism, but lumping China's economic
I'm
programs
saying
into that is ahistorical.
that there is, despite all of the rhetoric, despite the saber rattling and the justification for $1 trillion military budget, there is not going to be a hot war with China. There is a long-standing partnership that exists. What we're seeing is the convergence of East and West in what is referred to as, in their own words, the new global governance. This is not me talking. This is the Chinese government and various world business and political leaders talking. And that's when we bitch about the technocratic state, that's what we're talking about when we're asking people to form parallel structures.
Saying
When we're
this is all
asking
China
people
isn't just a
right.
historical.
Nobody is saying this is all China.
Yeah, nobody
What
said it
the
was all
fuck?
China.
Okay,
that
well,
that
like
is
that's what you were
absolutely
No.
I misheard. I'm
Come
sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's not at all what he's saying. He's just saying that it's again global convergence. This isn't just China. This is
like I'm going out of my way to use the most inclusive and not specifically blame China language possible, because there are far too many people that wrongly focus on that. And that's silly. But everybody who doesn't jump on China to blame hears the word China come out of anyone's mouth and automatically assumes that all you've done is blame China. That is not what's happening. Please, for
I
the
may
love
have
of
done
God,
that a little bit. I'm
start
sorry.
reading antiwar.com, and the people who write there, you want some sort of like sane perspective on what's going
it's
on.
again about nuance. It's about nuance. Nobody's like that. It's the same thing with the anti-Semitism claims.
I'm the dude who screams about labels or something you put on yourself so that you can let other people know how much you're worth before they ever interact with you. And I think that's dumb as fuck.
It is.
Like, and I'm certainly not trying to take that approach with foreign policy. I'm certainly not trying to take that approach with anything else. And I
No.
think that it's the height of stupidity and hubris to paint one in particular nation as the culprit. That's dumb as fuck too. The
Yeah,
world
this is
is
a much bigger
significantly
problem.
more complicated than that. The world
Yeah.
is
That's fair.
significantly more nuanced than that. And it's also way simpler than that too, at least at the local level. So
Yeah.
the idea that any one nation or any one system, that there is a one size fits all solution or a one nation fits all culprit for any of these problems, again, height of stupidity, height of hubris.
Yes.
That's there's no, and it's insane to me.
That's again
that
kind of the team
anyone-
mentality thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you've picked your side, and if you dare criticize Russia or China or whatever, and it's not to say that, like again, like Steve said, I'm not saying that China's bad or that Russia's bad or that, but I'm saying that everybody's a problem. It's all a problem. The whole global thing is a problem.
It's the entire mindset of kind of like of this very like viewing people as within their ability to be assets, essentially. The view of humanity and nature within the ability that they can be assets, the for-profit motive that, is encouraged in part by capitalism as well, but like a for-profit motive that we see around the world that drives and is driven again by this view of people and nature as assets, distancing humans from humanity and distancing the environment from nature, and using something like sustainable development goals as a means to kind of facilitate that, and also using like just overbearing surveillance as a mean to keep track of that. So yeah, it's that whole mindset, I agree, that like needs to really go as well. And that's why I don't like money.
Yeah.
That's why I fucking hate it. It's like
ideally we'd live in a system without it, but as long as it does exist, everyone needs to understand how it actually works, in my view.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
the only
don't
way
knock
to-
anyone for understanding how it works or making an effort to like counter it. It's just that I'd rather it exist. Like with all of this, I view it as tourist scams. I would much rather that they not exist along with the whole system that enables them. But I'm not going to knock people for using such a system in a way that can like take care of themselves and their family. So
yeah. No, I totally get it.
I have to hop off, but
okay. Thanks for coming, Glory Jones.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. I think this was my first time on Bitch. It's good to
shut the fuck up.
I think so. My schedule is scuffed, so like
that's unacceptable. I'm such a failure.
It's fine. I'm sure I'll be back on eventually. And
honestly, though, all my shows run together, so it's very possible that I thought that you had already been on when you had not.
Honestly, yeah, I lose track too. We've been in so many like meeting settings together.
I know
that they all mesh together. Like I don't know
between meetings and shows and Twitter DMs.
I don't know if I've been on Bitch or the Vigil before, so like it just meshes together.
Yeah,
I love Artemis. I love the little interlude you got on there with like the Jesus lighting.
I know that is pretty dope. Actually, that is total Jesus lighting. I love that shit. That's amazing. All right, Glory Jones, I love you so much. Thank you. Oh, tell her like, do you have time to like the X stuff?
Yeah.
Slam it.
So basically, Commander X, his next court hearing is January 11th. That's when they're really gonna start negotiating the plea deal. The good thing that happened in this kind of lull of time is that the government of Santa Cruz wasn't able to prove over $5,000 worth of damages for the 2011 DDoSes that took place there. So pretty much the Santa Cruz indictment is being dropped. So that can either be, so those charges are either going to be dropped to a misdemeanor or like dismissed completely, obviously. X and company will be trying to negotiate for the charges to be dismissed completely. So that leaves the Orlando indictment, which they're still waiting for more discovery from that. And it also leaves the failure to appear charges. But, you know, we're hoping that hopefully by January 11th, and, you know, however far the trial goes along, the X already served enough time in Santa Rita jail so he can be released as soon as possible. And yeah, that's that. For more updates in that case, you can go to @FreeCommanderX_ on Twitter. That generally gives the most updates. You can also write to him as well. He really needs it because jail sucks. It's Santa Rita Jail, line Christopher Doyen, UMD 885, line 5325, Broder Boulevard,
I'm trying to find
line Dublin, California.
I put it.
94568.
Just I put it in the chatty chat or the thing.
Okay, thanks.
Somebody's got to share it up on the screen. But
hold on.
it's Amy Beth's tweet for the Christmas card thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, guys.
There
And it's
you
also
go.
in the. I just put it in the chat too.
There you go. Okay. Thanks for that, Steve. So yeah, and like I said, for any other information, you can either go to Amy Bass' account or you can go to @FreeCommanderX_ on Twitter, which is kind of the main hub for any updates in his case, as well as like resources on how you can give to his commissary or his jail fund, or, you know, like information on that, how to write to him, and just general updates on how he's doing. So yeah, and then that's kind of all the major updates I have on that I can think of now. In the meantime, I'm Glory Jones. I'm on the ground and around. That's where you can find me. This Saturday, I'm either going to be at an Amazon Fresh store in Cerritos, or I'm going to be in the Australian Embassy in Century City. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be at one of those two places. And then on Sunday, I'll be on Slow News Day, which I co-host with Steve Poikinen, the faceless voice that you've been hearing throughout the show. And
Today's Sleepy Josh.
yeah, today's Sleepy J, who's our tech ninja. And yeah, that's all. That's what I can think of for plugging stuff. Oh yeah, there's my Twitter. You can find me on there too. I shit post about anime and I do protest threads and whatever. But yeah, okay. Jesus
Thanks,
Christ,
Glory.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Later, Tater. Love you.
I'll see y'all.
And I put just so everybody knows, I put all the Commander X stuff in the chat too, the Twitter handle, the website. I copy and pasted the address if anybody wants to. Like now would probably be a great time to write to Commander X or Julian Assange or Daniel Hale or who, like pick somebody, pick a political prisoner and write to him. Pick your favorite, the one you just learned about, write to them too. Okay. It's Christmas time. It's holiday time. Sorry, the war on Christmas. So yeah, write to Commander X. Donate to the commissary stuff. You know, it's very helpful right now for sure.
You know what, man? I hate Christmas with a passion, and if somebody tells me Merry Christmas, I'd say it back to them because I don't need to shit on their day.
Right?
But wow, am I not a fan of the holiday?
I just don't. That whole thing, like the whole like Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, I just don't give a fuck. Like I'm not, and how hard is it to just like, okay, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or what the fuck ever. It doesn't have to be a big fucking deal, y'all. Like it's somebody's like giving you a kind greeting. Don't be an asshole. It's really that simple,
right?
You know.
Well, and
so many other things to be pissed off about.
Yeah. Did you guys see that Fox News ran a segment about the Santa shortage? It blamed Biden.
There's a Santa shortage?
Yes.
Oh,
apparently
boy.
there is according to the Fox News number, something like 120 or 130% supposed increase in demand for Santas.
Craig Murray could step in.
But like,
he's so cute with his beard. Love
but
it.
there's a negative according again to Fox News, and I don't know how they got these numbers.
Yeah, I wonder how they found that. How they came up with the number.
So I'm not saying
They
these
made
are
that
real
shit up.
numbers. I'm saying these are the numbers they thought would look good. So apparently there's like a negative, according to them, 17% effect on the number of people willing to be Santa.
Well,
so they're basically
I've
taking the
been
inflation
unemployed for 10
propaganda,
months. Maybe I should be a
mixing it
Santa. I don't know.
You could be a Santa.
Yeah, yay. All right.
Totally.
Job opportunity.
Inflation propaganda and mixing it with the war on Christmas propaganda and spitting out this just nonsense.
The war on Christmas makes me giggle, you guys. It's so fucking stupid.
It really is.
It's exhausting.
This is how I waged the war on Christmas. You ready? So 2 of my 4.5 jobs are in the retail sector. And among the other buttons and pins I wear either on my coat or my shirt is one that says happy. And then it says Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Winter Solstice, Boxing Day, then no, I don't even have Christmas yet. Then something else that I can't even remember what is. Then whatever you love to celebrate day, and then I put Christmas last. I literally put Christmas last. And I love Christmas. I love Christmas. But that's just my little snide way of like
Merry Christmas, Hana Kwanzaa.
Right. It's not really snide, but I think it's because I'm being genuine about it. But it's funny to me that there are retail clients who are going to see that and flip out on me, and it has happened already.
God, people take this shit so seriously.
Yeah.
You guys, there are kids starving right now. Like right now, today, right now, as we're talking right now, kids starving, and people are mad because somebody said Merry Christmas. Shut the fuck up. Seriously, just shut the fuck up. God, it's so dumb what people choose to be upset about. It's honestly, I don't even
like. Okay, and to somebody's comments in the YouTube feed. If you want there to not be a shortage of Santas, try paying Santa a living wage.
And give them some health care. Christ, Santa can't even get health care in this country.
I probably shouldn't name one of the retail corporations I work for. But one of the retail corporations I work for may or may not hypothetically also own a large insurer. And they give us the crappiest insurance I've ever had. That's also the most expensive.
Yeah.
When they literally own the insurance.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't. But it's funny. This also made me mad. So Biden held a press conference of sorts. Not a press conference, a CEO conference. Like a town hall for CEOs at the White House a couple days ago. Did you guys see this?
No, I don't pay too much attention to what Joe Biden's doing.
Yeah,
honestly.
I only saw it. I don't even know why I saw it because I don't pay attention to it. But it was really funny. So there was the CEO of CVS and Walmart were there virtually. The new CEO of Best Buy, some grocery chain, another grocery chain, and I want to say a big, another big health name. It was like 8 CEOs. And Biden was updating them, apparently, which really we all know they were telling Biden what to do because that's how it works. But yeah,
right.
It's just funny to me that.
Yeah, honestly, we're such a fucking joke. It's
yeah.
It's so. I mean,
but why aren't people more angry? I mean, more angrier though. That's what pisses me off.
Because they've been programmed to either not be angry or to direct their anger at a subgroup. That's
everybody is angry.
Yeah, well, okay.
Everybody is angry.
Then we should show it. We should show it, right? I mean, sorry, I'm a simple person.
Well, everybody's angry at
the wrong stuff.
Yeah,
everybody's angry at different things, and everybody's angry based on whatever particular propaganda bubble they've chosen to be a part of on the internet.
That's it.
And everybody, everybody's angry about like whatever gets them the most dopamine online in return for that exchange of energy. Like whatever their anger is costing them in terms of serotonin or in terms of, like oxytocin in exchange for that dopamine, that's where they're going to go for the hit.
Mhm.
But
And that's what social media
dopamine-
is, you guys. That's what
It's a
social
drug.
media
Well,
is.
dopamine, no matter what form the dopamine is coming from, that costs you something. You have to
Mhm.
pay in some way, shape, or form for that. Whereas by and large, serotonin, you don't have to pay for. That's something that you get for free. And there's whether or not anyone wants to go and wrap their head in tinfoil and say it's an overarching agenda or not, the products that we have been sold for the last 40 to 50 years have in myriad ways pulled us away from being able to get the things that allow us to feel good for free and into the things that we have to pay for in
Yes.
some way, shape, or form to feel good. Because when you pay for it, there's an investment. It's not just an emotional investment, it's an emotional and a financial investment. This is also why people stick with shitty content creators for years and years and years and years, because they're not just emotionally invested in that content creator, they got a financial stake in this piece of shit now.
Yeah.
So they gotta ride it out to see if they can come around. And I think
Yep.
people spent the last year and a half or 2 years waiting for a lot of their favorite media figures to come around to something that they never have, and or have been like vastly too late. Now everybody's so confused about it that they're fighting with each other instead of the thing that they should be.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to say though is that I don't actually even pay attention to social media that much. I'm not on it that much either. I do agree with you guys. Like, Misty, earlier you were talking about, actions matter. I agree with that. Actions matter. People stop like talking shit about each other or talking just shit. Just, they should just go act, right?
Yeah.
So
do
I'm just really
something.
pissed off that, like, okay, so I came here to talk about the well, not only about that, but I just wanna say something about that, because the rally, or it's not gonna be okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be out there in front of Adam Schiff's office on Monday, delivering bag of coal with maybe a girl, demanding healthcare justice or whatever. But to be honest, it's not gonna be a big thing, because we can't draw crowd. That's a rich community. That when California District 28 is a rich community. I'm part of it, but I'm not rich. That's why I'm I'm gonna be out there. But here's the thing: what pissed me off is that people talk about wanting healthcare, but the thing is, there are two groups of people, or there are more, but like two groups that stand out to me. One who says, who are nervous about going out there and protesting in front of politicians' office because it's not nice. They want to be nice and polite. They're just turned off about, us delivering bag of coals, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, polite times are over.
Yes.
We've been polite plenty of times. I did congressional visits. I still do that, on a lot of issues where you go to politicians' office and they're not even there. You talk to their aides, and you politely ask them to do something. I'm over that, So, yeah. So for one, I'm just angry. I'm just sick of people who just want to be polite with two politicians, And secondly,
Oh.
I'm pissed off at people who say things like, "Oh, but it won't do anything. You go out there, do direct actions, it won't do shit." Okay, yeah, I know. Me delivering bag of coal to Adam Schiff once won't do a shit. Okay, I know that. I'm not stupid. But I'm just saying, or we are saying, actually, March for Medicare for All, as a group, is saying that, yeah, every single one of us, or if you care to do so, should go out there and demand, just express your displeasure, express your anger that you don't have something basic as healthcare. We should be angry about that, because it's ridiculous that we don't have it in this country.
Yeah. Politicians shouldn't be able to go anywhere without being heckled and shit upon.
Exactly,
And everybody,
exactly.
like, they should. I'm
can
so
I-
tired of people making excuses and like trying to, like, I get shit on all the time, Sakura, all the time,
Yeah.
because I'm so mean. You're so mean to fuck
Oh
off.
fuck.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Shut
see,
the
people are
fuck
mad at
up.
like wrong people. Like, I mean, what? Why are they mad at you? I mean, that's
You should be mad at the
ridiculous.
people in power who are not doing
I
shit.
know.
You should be
See?
calling them out. You should be angry. You should be frustrated. You should be screaming at the top of your lungs. You stop making excuses and justifying their shit
Right,
corrupt
right,
behavior. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
See, it's like this though. Okay, so I have to bend. Sorry. So as I said, I've been unemployed for 10 months. So yesterday, my headspace, thinking about this protest coming up on Monday, and I'm thinking, okay, I should be worried about more, I should be worried about myself. I'm frankly worried about like how I'm gonna where I'm gonna end up in 6 months from now. I have no money, right? Or my tooth literally is falling out, right? I'm losing my tooth because I can't afford, dentist, right? So I'm like, well, okay, so here's like, one moment I think, okay, I'm so stupid of going out there and protesting in front of, Adam fucking Schiff's office, right? I mean, I should be worried about myself. But the thing is, I mean, it's like, what do we got to lose, right? I mean, I don't have anything to lose. I just have to do something to get healthcare, and I'm in that space. I guess, yeah, okay, I should be worried about myself, but since I am worried about myself and my future and my kids' future, I should go out and protest and just show that, like, we are fucking mad about us not having, something basic as healthcare.
Yeah. Yes. Basic as fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is bare minimum
okay,
shit. It's the
basic.
year 2021 in the United States of America, and people can't afford to go to see a doctor. They can't like just go you have a cold or whatever. You can't just go to the doctor. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is fucking ridiculous that's a thing that's happening. It's and the fact that
you know what stresses me, not as much as the reality that I am likely to die bankrupt from a preventable illness.
Yep.
Slightly less what stresses me is that the people who have been fighting like literally for their lives for healthcare in this country might get it, but President Kamala Harris will be the one signing it into law with Mitch McConnell's 17th chin warble still, in charge of the Republican Senate, and Chuck Schumer or whatever fucking ghoul replaces Chuck Schumer in charge of the Democratic part of the Senate, and their demons are going to be the ones ultimately putting something like this into place, because unless we stop, when we get the fourth industrial revolution, universal healthcare is going to be a part of that. Garrett, that is, by their own words, that's happening. Universal basic income is happening by their own words, by their own, the roadmap that's laid out for it. What goes along with universal health care is total ownership and control of every living organism. And that to me is not a fair trade.
no.
That's not.
Yeah, we need to be very
but
mindful.
It is the universal health care that we are, invariably being promised. We're a few years out from it, but I like it. I don't want to die bankrupt from a preventable illness. I don't.
Right.
That sucks, dude. And I likely will. I have had an interesting life You know, I should not be alive currently for a multitude of reasons, multiple times over. Yeah, I am in the bonus round, well aware of that. But again, like having the early incarnations of a totalitarian state in charge of my being, which is a stated goal in terms of healthcare. Could I hijack this for just a moment and bring up the one of my favorite pieces of reading that
Yes.
Glory and I have covered pretty extensively.
Oh no! How convenient, motherfuck! What the hell just happened?
Muskrat censored him.
Oh, dude. Hello to the nice NSA agent. Ridiculous. He'll be back. He'll be back, I bet.
All
Yeah,
right.
but he's right. Like I got shit on a lot because I emceed one of the March for Medicare for Alls. And I got shit on a lot because I think that we need, I'm not saying we don't need healthcare. I'm saying that we need to be mindful of the way that it's implemented, because they're going to try to co-opt and corrupt whatever system they choose to give us. So we need to be very mindful of the way that it's implemented. We need to, because y'all, they will fuck you over on this. They will give you what you think is healthcare, but it will be another giveaway. So I'm not anti Medicare for all or healthcare for all. Let's do this smart. Let's be very aware of the fact that these are some crap motherfuckers
which is why we need a national health service, not a Medicare for all, in my opinion.
Steve, do you want me to share that thing you just put up? Is that
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could. I'm gonna jump back up to the top here real quick, just to introduce you guys to this thing. This is something you can all look at for yourself. It's from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and the Center for Health Security. The Center for Health Security is a global public-private partnership. Public-private partnerships used to be more commonly referred to as fascism. However, now we're calling it, global governance. So the future of medical technology is one of these things that they go into quite a bit. I want to jump down here real quick to this section. And the kind of surveillance that we're looking forward to in health, like to the point to where they quite literally title the chapter health surveillance, disease detection, surveillance, and situational awareness. Now, I'm not saying that this is a guarantee. I'm saying that the technology that they're discussing either exists or is about to be rolled out. So drone networks for environmental detection. When I talk about the complete ownership of every living thing, the total surveillance, total control of all organisms, this is what I'm talking about. In the name of maybe your asparagus has COVID, they would like to put a network of drones to surveil plants, agriculture, livestock, and humans with real-time diagnostics going back to your centralized universal health service. Again, they would like to do this for plants. When I said they want to see if your asparagus has COVID, I wasn't kidding. I wasn't kidding. Like, that's 100% what they would like to do. That's not even the weird part. It gets a little bit weirder when it comes to diagnostics, such as, I think it's, the handheld mass spectrometry tech that's going to allow you to do diagnostics on yourself without extracting a single cell. In addition to the patch vaccine, they're also going to have the patch diagnostic kit. This is kind of cool. 3D printing of chemicals and biologics. It is kind of cool. It is. No bullshit. Where's the really weird part, though? Yeah, that's weird. Microarray patch for vaccine administration. You got a Band-Aid with little needles on it that administers the shoddy shot. And then these guys. Because, people have been expressing hesitation to the point to where there have been ongoing protests now for months in dozens and dozens of countries. And so to curb that, they've created these. Let me get to the part where they actually, let's see. They do say that these have been successfully created, but not implemented on a large scale. Thank you for allowing me to horrify you with upcoming medical technology. But also, by the way, all of these people, all of the organizations involved in this group that put out this paper are either have run for president, are some of the largest donors and owners, I guess, controllers of everyone. Did you guys know that Bernie Sanders has taken more money from Big Pharma in the last 2 years than any other politician currently serving? Like
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, fuck Bernie Sanders. Come for me. I don't care. That dude sucks. Seriously, he's such a good guy, though. No, he's not. That motherfucker is not a good person. He's not a good human being. He calls Joe Biden a good friend. He's a war criminal. I'm going to say it again. If war criminals are your good friends, you need to find better friends. Seriously, if you are capitulating to corruption repeatedly on a regular basis, openly, we know he knows better, right? In 2015, he ran against this shit. I mean, he pretended he was going to, go in there and reform the Democratic Party. Now he's capitulating at every turn. He's not a good person.
He
I'm
is
so sick of
the Democratic Party.
Yes. I keep saying that he got screwed over by his own party and people freak out. That's not his party. Yes, it fucking is. Yes, it is.
Redacted Tonight put out a tweet earlier today, something about these people the media acts on behalf of military industrial complex and these and I'm like, dude, no, they are like, we have concrete, verifiable historical record, not just from the last 9 years of the Smith Modernization Act, where it is 100% codified into U.S. law that propaganda can and should be spread on the airways, and that you can work directly with intelligence in order to do so. I'm talking about from the inception of print, period. Like, that is what that has been used for. But in the U.S., since we've had intelligence services, there is a long storied, well-documented history of those services not co-opting individuals behind the desk, but entire organizations are setting up the financial framework for outlets to exist in the first place, and then hiring the editorial staff and hiring the management, hiring the senior staff that put out the content. This is not even something that's debatable. And yet, like, even people that I love are still dancing around this idea. No, they are the military, industrial, intelligence, congressional, media, academia, think tank complex, Ray McGovern. They are the Mickey Mac. They are. And the sooner people stop fucking pretending like there's going to be something that happens at the federal governmental level that is in any way, shape, or form going to benefit them,
Oh,
the sooner
goodness.
we can realize that the best act we can do on election day is to surround and prevent anyone from entering that building, we're fucked.
Yeah.
You know?
Electoral
But as
politics
soon
ain't
as
it.
Yeah.
Ain't it? It ain't it. Y'all, you're never gonna get, are you kidding? How long do we have to keep playing this game? What you want doesn't matter. First of all, our elections are a fucking joke. They're corrupt to the core. You do not have legitimate elections. What you vote for does not fucking matter. And not only that, people are pretending like it matters if you vote for Joe Biden or Donald Trump. It doesn't fucking matter who you vote for. It's the same agenda. It's the same ruling elite. They all have this. They're all working toward the same end goal. It's the different cover on the same book. That's all it is. The only thing that changes between those two people is the rhetoric that they use and the demographic that they pander to. That's it. They're working towards the exact same goals. There is no difference whatsoever between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Period. End of story. And there will be no difference with the cop and Boy Wonderspook. They are the same. They are the exact fucking same. It does not matter. We have to stop pretending like it does. We're never going to affect any change through the electoral system. Period. End of story. And I get like there are a lot of people who get mad at me when I say that because we have to use every tool available, and that's fine. Like if you want to go and run for office, if you want to attack the electoral system in some way, that's fine. I just personally I think it's a waste of fucking time, energy, and resources. I really fucking do. There is no way you can change that system. It is corrupt to the core. Where it's beyond repair. It really is. Like we're well past that. We are well past that. But that's just me. Do your own thing. I don't care. Like I'm not telling anybody what to do. But yeah,
I do agree with you. I mean, Democrats, Republicans don't matter anymore. I still want to vote the fuckers out though, who take money for
go
corporate
vote.
money.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it takes like in Ohio we have early voting. It takes me like 5 seconds to go vote. I'll still go vote, especially if there's like a ballot initiative or something locally that I can vote, or like school board. That stuff can still matter. You know what I mean? So, and it doesn't take that long to go vote in most cases. I'm not saying everybody has the same ability to go vote easily, but for me it's easy, so I'll go do it. But it doesn't matter. And even if you vote these fuckers out, the fuckers that replace them are going to be just as corrupt. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
I do want to interject because I gotta go, but this was really fun.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up. Yeah.
Go
ahead, tell everybody where they can find your stuff, all your good stuff, all your stuff.
Sure. So the two places where most of my stuff are published are lighthousetribune.com and realprogressives.org. I have an Authory, so it's authory.com/Artemis Salisbury spelled like the steak sauce, I guess, because I don't want to spell it out. And yeah, I've been working on some big articles that are coming through the pipes, so feel free to follow me at any of those.
Cool. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, we can go ahead and wrap it up though. Here, I'm gonna put Artemis's Twitter handle in the chat. Okay, Sakura, do you want to tell everybody where they can find? Oh, and tell everybody what March. Remind everybody about the thing on Monday. All the good stuff you guys have it coming up. Hi, Lucky. Hi, Lucky. Lucky's here.
So Monday, December 6th, from noon to approximately maybe like 1 p.m., we are going to be in front of Adam Schiff's office in Burbank, California, delivering bag of coal, demanding he do more to pass Medicare for all, and also stop taking healthcare industry money, which he will not comply, but we are asking anyways. Maybe a girl congressional candidate in the same district, and I will be there. We are going to perform a theatrical piece on DCEs, that's direct contracting entities, that's essentially privatization of Medicare that's happening right now without our knowledge and without any congressional oversight. That's scary stuff that we are trying to educate the public and also ask or demand Adam Schiff and other congressional people to have hearing on that so that we can stop the privatization of Medicare. Yep.
Cool. I'm excited for the protests. If you're in the area, please show up. I just put Sakura's Twitter handle on the screen. You can
Thank you.
follow there. Yeah, and then
Oh yeah, yeah.
obviously-
So and we are singing Jessie Jet's song, which I actually
Yay!
haven't heard yet. But yeah, we are. I'm very excited. Yep. So
Yay, Jessie Jet's amazing.
I know,
I
I
fangirl all
know.
the time over Jessie Jet. I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing me fangirl over Jessie Jet. Anyways,
Right.
so yeah, follow the March Medicare for All stuff. If you're in the area for the protest on Monday, go check it out. You know,
Yeah.
and
And seriously, please, if you have a time, before Christmas, whatever, between now and 25th, if you can do it, just deliver a, bag of coal to your representative. Don't get them off the hook. It doesn't matter if they are sponsor of HR 1976, because Adam Schiff is a co-sponsor too, but he is doing nothing. Okay, so we have to hold them accountable. Doesn't matter if they are co-sponsor. Just demand that they do more, because it's a fucking crisis out there. So
yeah, Cynic wants to know which song you're singing from Jessie Jet
oh, actually, this is a song that he specifically wrote for us
for the march.
Yeah, so yeah,
okay.
it's a Christmas carol of some sort.
Oh, this is new.
Yep,
I like it. Are you live streaming it by chance?
I try to. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
do that. Yep,
Cool.
mhm.
Send me the link or whatever, and I'll tweet it out on Monday.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you for coming. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you so
Steve,
much, Misty.
Yeah. See you. Steve,
right.
do you want to tell everybody all your stuff, what you have coming up on Slow News Day?
Oh, we've got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. Just check in with us, rockfin.com/slownewsday. All the social media is at Slow Newsday Show, website slownewsdayshow.com. We have really kick-ass, really comfortable t-shirts at truthclothing.io.
I still need to get one.
And you should check them out. Dude, they're hella comfy. They really are.
I have a shirt problem.
I'm very particular about that kind of shit, especially after yeah, dude. I'm stoked. We wound up with the same people that do the merch for Last American Vagabond.
Nice.
And they do really good stuff.
Cool.
But
all right,
thank
I just
you.
put I also
appreciate it.
no, thanks for coming. I also put Steve's GoFundMe again in the chat. If you guys have a couple bucks to toss Steve's way, we need to support independent media as much as humanly possible. They are seriously clamping down on the sources of information, and the only way to combat that is to support alternative sources. So find your favorite and go support them, even if it's not monetarily, because I know everybody's in a tough position. Sharing people's work is very helpful. Even if you can't donate to somebody's GoFundMe or their Patreon or whatever, sharing that information is very helpful. So even just sharing somebody's links or their clips or whatever is super, super helpful. We have to support, and I cannot stress it enough, we have to support independent media right now, because they're going to come. It's only going to get worse. I know, like Steve and I have been talking about this for years. I feel like a broken record, but as we've been right so far, it's only going to continue to get worse. And the only way we can combat that is to stand together. So I feel very preachy about that right now. Sorry about that. So I want to thank everybody for coming on the show tonight. All of my random guests. I kind of like this format of just like sending the link to random people and just having weird conversations. Tonight was kind of weird, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm also in a weird headspace today, so that's
I've
probably a little bit my fault.
I've got Jessie Jet in my DMs.
Yeah, me too. We're texting.
That's fucking funny.
Hi, Jessie. Yeah. But
who knew he was such a gossipy little girl?
I know. But I love me some Jessie. I do.
I love you, Jessie.
Yes. So yeah, I don't remember what I was about to say. So yeah, next week I think I'm just going to continue doing this. I was like having planned guests on, but I kind of like having a party and just like randomly having conversations with weird people. Not that you guys are weird, but we are. Yeah, so we'll see who comes on next week. I don't know. If there's somebody you want me to send a link to, let me know. I'll talk to just about anybody. So I'm down for whatever. Make sure you all real quickly, I'll put the Commander X stuff back in the chat. Also, I'm going to one more time put my friend's Am I on the right link? Yes. Okay. So for my friend Andrew, who we sadly lost last week to suicide, if you have a few bucks to send to his family, I would really appreciate it on a personal level. He was a good friend to me. I'm trying not to cry. But yeah, he was a good friend to me. So if you guys can help his family out, I would genuinely appreciate that. Lucky, you're always welcome to come on. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link next week, girl. You and Steve both. So yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out in the chat. Oh, I should mention, I don't know, Jesse might get not Jesse Jet, the other Jesse, my co-host Jesse, might get mad at me for preemptively announcing this, but we're going to start doing a weekly Friday show. Not like maybe guests, maybe not, but just like us, just shooting the shit and talking about whatever's going on for that week. So we're going to have that on this. We're going to start this Friday at 4 for Facts on the Ground. So if anybody wants to come hang out for that, we will be live Friday at 4 o'clock. And then of course, next week, 7 o'clock, same time every week. We'll see who comes on. Lucky will probably be here. Leo. Hi, Leo. Lucky's dog Leo hears me. I love Leo. Leo's like the best little mascot. Anyways, thanks for hanging out for a weird episode of Bitch. I appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.